cannot become a thing. I'm just saying, this cannot become a thing. I mean, you preached this morning for the first time. I felt like there was God in you this morning. Don't make this a thing, Kojo. But I beg you.
But you realize I haven't actually said that DB tables.
I said whoever DB tables, don't make it a thing.
We are not saying it well. It's not twibbles, tables. DB tables. All right. Anyway, it's time for the news review brought to you by Interplus. Wherever you are, they make sure water reaches you, even in space. Now, of course, are you tired of using a garden hose to water your lawn every time? Are you tired of your brown lawn? Then you can stay green with InGreen. Contact Interplus for your automatic lawn irrigation system and materials. Of course, call them on 0302819000. InGreen, another quality solution from Interplus. Interplus, wherever you are, they make sure water reaches you, even space. All right, then. Who's kicking it all off?
I am. And front page of the Herald, Ghanaian media and public disinterested in the corruption index. Very interesting one there. Chief Justice petition to remove judge on NCA trial accused of glaring bias and anger outbursts. Opuni cannot be held liable for Cocoa Board's procurements, as according to Attorney General's witness. And that's the Herald.
Well, it's interesting they say we are not interested in the Corruption Perception Index, because Kojo, you interviewed Lindo Forikwafu yesterday on the
She seemed interested.
Yes, and it's on the front page of the Chronicle newspaper. It says Ghana scores 41% again in the latest corruption index. Oh, anyone, please, I'll do the verse, okay?
Thank you, very good.
The verse is Proverbs 21:13. Whoever closes his ear to the cry of the poor will himself call out and not be answered. It also has...
I now understand why Anima was insisting that you should...
Because we are still in January, right?
Poverty is referenced.
Oh my God.
The 41st day of January.
Israel detains Ghanaian pregnant woman for over 4 months, but the embassy says she's an illegal immigrant. And CPP scribe joins chorus for new voter register, and my economic programs are successful. President Akufo-Addo there.
The Daily Guide is the next paper I have. EC picks vendor for biometric register. Auditor General begs of Safu Mafu. And that's all anymore. You brought us Bafu Boni petitioning the CJ over a judge. The Attorney General's department is appealing Agojo's bail. Those are the stories on the front page of the Daily Guide.
Okay, the new crusading guide, the new weekend crusading guide, Government Economic Recovery Program successful. That's according to President Akufo-Addo. New register. EC has made a solid case. That's CPP's Kabila and Alliance for New Register rallies support for Electoral Commission over new voters register.
We made significant gains. President's town success of economic recovery program. Arguments against the new voters register incoherent, says non-party alliance. And consider 2020 elections as a development decision. NDPC boss urges electorates. And that is the Daily Statesman.
The Finder has Bawumia dominating the front page. And of course, you know that he'll be talking about economy. He says our first time economic record is unmatched in Fourth Republic. Bawumia challenges NDC critics to prove any facts to dispute his position. We support bauxite mining in Itiwa Forest, as the chief saying, retract and apologize for auction car story. This is a letter which was sent to us, which we are responding to. There's no need for any apology at all, because the claims contained in the letter asking us for apology appears to have misunderstood the documentary which we put out. Regular fails at Tema Station blamed on station managers' failure to pay service providers. Those are the stories here on the Finder.
Okay, so the Gold Street Business is reporting that Ghana-London Stock Exchange partnership begins. Petroleum food drives producer inflation upwards in December. Petroleum and food are driving producer inflation upwards in December. 2020 trade fair targets value addition for SMEs. There's also a piece on the agenda for the 2020 World Economic Forum. CSOs deepen the fight against inequality, and Statistical Service are launching a 5-year corporate plan. That's the Gold Street Business.
The Weekend today has that story of the Corruption Perception Index, and it says Ghana keeps position on CPI. Group backs EC over new register. This group is the ANR, led by Razak Kojo Poku.
My last paper is a Daily Graphic, which has practiced accountable leadership. Assembly members charged at inauguration. EC's posture is injurious to democracy. That's the director of elections of the National Democratic Congress, Elvis Ifriankra, who is saying this. Invest in Ghana, Blair urges entrepreneurs. Back page of the Daily Graphic, Operation Vanguard team to be deployed at Odan River Forest Reserve. And then graphic gets results. Individuals who flout sanitation laws arrested.
All right. Well, Chief urges government to compel Lands Commission and EPA to halt encroachment on the Shai Osudoku land. AFC FTA sectors will make Ghana attractive investment destination. That's according to Alan Tremanting on the back page of the Ghanaian Times. On the front page, nationwide inauguration of Assembly Unit Committee members end unplanned haphazard development. Now, the president is tasking all MMDAs. President touts success of government's economic programs. Court orders Attorney General IGP to produce CCTV footage on assault of journalists, and Alliance for New Register urges Ghanaians to support EC. Also, there's an update on a story that we brought to you yesterday, killing of cop by armed robbers. Police nabbed the owner of the filling station. So let me just give you that update quickly, and then I hand you over to Malik or to Daniel. Okay, so yesterday we brought you the story about the police officer who was killed at what happened with the filling station the day before. Well, the owner of the filling station has been arrested. He is in custody. He's a suspect. What happened is that the team found out that some of the spent cartridges retrieved from the murder scene were suspected to actually have been fired from the shotgun and pistol belonging to the owner of the filling station, Isaac Eshan. She said that the pistol and the shotgun belonging to the suspect have been retrieved and retained for evidential purposes. So he's in custody, and that's what's going on with that case.
Our hearts go out to his family, though.
Okay, let's do money. And the audit service is saying that only a few public office holders have complied with the law requiring them to file their asset declarations with the Auditor General. Now, you know that according to the law, and this is an official of the Ghana Audit Service who is saying that, Assistant PRO who is saying this, any public officer who is earning any salary from 4,500 and above is required by law to publish to file their asset declaration with the Auditor General.
That's a monthly salary of 4,500 and above. Is
absolutely.
That correct? Okay.
Now, he is saying that out of the 40,000 people who are required to file these asset declarations, just a few of them have done so. The rest of them have refused to comply with the law, which again is not new. And we know that the Auditor General has been campaigning for the effectiveness or effective implementation of the law on asset declaration. In fact, he actually wants an amendment of the law. He doesn't only want asset declaration, he also wants liability declaration as well.
Yeah.
So the public office holders who come into office and who probably are owing people, we should know. So that in the end, if they pay, we will know that they have been able to offset these debts that they had before coming into public office. His argument essentially is that if you don't require people to also tell what their liabilities are, people who owe a lot of money, they will come into public office, find a way to pay all these off.
And you might not see that they are, abusing their office to do so because they are still wearing the same shirt every day.
Great. So this is why he wants the asset declaration regime to change. We know that some civil society organizations have been advocating this as well. The reality is that public officers have violated this law for a very long time, and there has not been any consequence. In any case, if they were to declare the asset, we won't even know what is there.
Now, the Attorney General's office wants to propose some amendments to that law to make it tighter, if you will. So you will now be declaring your assets not just at the beginning and end of your tenure, but every year. Also, they will be verified by the Shraj boss, and anyone can request access to your asset declaration documentation. So, even the more lax law is not being obeyed.
No,
I wonder how people will manage with a tougher one.
So Bernard Obingon Pari is with the audit service. When he came for the last corruption watch, he told us that they've actually started verifying the assets that are declared. And instead of you submitting a sealed envelope to them, what they do is that they check the envelope the form that you fill, and they check and make sure that everything was filled well, and they begin verifying.
Except also that the last time they complained that some of the, especially properties, landed properties that have been stated by public officials, there are no addresses to them, so they can't even locate them in this verification.
That's why they are asking that they add the digital
address.
Yeah, but we're suggesting to them that they can use what the banks do. They can have them draw maps on A4 sheets. Yeah, which is what is done in some.
So a public officer is declaring that they have a house, but you can't locate it.
Exactly.
So how do you verify?
But Charlie, how do you show someone that I live in OEB behind a blue kiosk?
With your digital address.
Well, Kojo, you're right.
Which
works. Which works, I should say. So let's stay with the issue of corruption, which is really what asset declaration is seeking to cure. And the corruption perception index was released. Now, the interesting thing here is that Ghana maintained the same score in the index, and they dropped 2 places in the ranking, which means that others are doing better, except that we stayed the same. Remember, the trend from 2012 to 2019 is that we scored 45, 46, 48, 47, 43, 40, and 41. And now we've done 41 again. So the argument has been that we don't seem to be improving by much, even though the score of 41 was the first improvement of our score since 2012. And the score of 40 before that was the lowest ever since we began that score in 2012. The difference between corruption perception index and, for instance, what the Afrobarometer did was that the Afrobarometer asked Ghanaians, do you think Ghana is more corrupt? Do you think that government is doing well in the fight against corruption? With the corruption perception index, it's an aggregation of 13 different indices. So this is what the international community, this is what the investor community, they have said already in various surveys, in various indices, between 9 and 13 of them. And then they've aggregated that together to form the corruption perception index. It's arguably the most accurate and the most credible measure of how people
credible,
feel.
yes.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most credible option we have at the moment.
Yes. Of how people feel. About corruption in your country, which is why we are always comparing ourselves to countries that score high on the CPI, like Denmark, and ask ourselves what they did to get to the point that they are today, and then try and learn from them.
What they did is the things that you won't do.
You are right, indeed. That's Malik.
Indeed. Well, something that's improving is the fact that more men are reporting abuse cases to DOFSU now more than ever before. So the coordinator of the DOFSU of the Ghana Police Service, well, this coordinator is in charge of the Bono East and Ahafo region, Superintendent Abaji. She has said that more men have come forward with reporting abuse. She said it's increased, from 66 in 2017 to 123 in 2018 to about 157 in 2019. Most of the abuse cases are against females. So it's not man-on-man abuse, but it's actually women who are abusing men. Okay, she said, breaking it down, some of the things that they reported are non-maintenance, mostly for children, spousal assault, and some of the women not granting the men reasonable access to their children. And I'm sure, Malik, you've heard that whenever there's a problem with a marriage or there's a divorce, the children become a weapon. And a lot of times women take that
bargaining
chip, won't give access to the man, you can't see your children, if you don't love me, you don't love your children, all of that. The good thing is that more men are speaking up and reporting it, and she's saying that the more men that are reporting it, the more men that are reporting it. So when a man comes to report and he goes and says, I reported and I actually got justice, it's allowing other men who are also in that situation to come and speak up. However, abuse is still quite lopsided in terms of reporting, because abuse against women went up from 795 in 2017 to 904 in 2018. That's about 5 times more than men. So women are still reporting more, but we're making progress on men speaking up about being abused.
And the abuse here is also verbal abuse, emotional abuse, so psychological
all
abuse.
Sorts of abuse.
So you can
physical abuse as well, especially against women.
And also against men. Remember, a few months ago we did a show on abuse against men, and a lot of men called in and actually said, I'm constantly being insulted by my wife. She's beating me, she's hitting me. I can't hit back, obviously, because when I do, the narrative changes, because it suddenly becomes about the fact that I'm stronger and I hit back, and nobody is focusing on the fact that she was the one who actually started. So that's what's going on with that.
The other thing which is going on is that the Auditor General, according to the Daily Guide newspaper, has written to the Senior Minister Yaosafo Mafu, begging for time to file to file the documents that he ought to have filed in reply to their petition against his disallowance and surcharge. You know that the Auditor General Yao Domelevo surcharged the Senior Minister to pay some $1 million. That's $1 million which was paid to a company which rendered some services to the state. Auditor General believed that the contract was not properly done and that there was no evidence of payment, and yet the payment was made. Therefore, he's disallowing under the law. He's exercising his powers under the law to disallow and surcharge.
Does the Daily Guide quote from this letter?
Yes, the Daily Guide quotes from the letter which they say was written by lawyers of Domelevu to the lawyers of the Senior Minister Yaosafo Mafu. Now let me just read one part. They said, our client has been served with the above instituted appeal, the effect of which are stipulated by provisions of Order 54, Rule 5.1, as inserted by the High Court Civil Procedure, and these are complicated rules, is required to file with the Register of the High Court 5 copies of all documents used by our client in the disallowance and surcharge in respect of which your client's appeal has been lodged. So Osafo Mafu and the 4 other staff of the Finance Ministry filed their appeal against this surcharge. And they actually went to court asking that the Auditor General should be imprisoned. They are citing him for contempt for failure to file these documents.
Right.
This is what they are saying. His lawyers have now written, asking for time to file them.
Interesting. All right. Okay.
So the acting director of training at the Electoral Commission, Michael Boedu, says the country's election management body, that is the EC, is ready to implement ROPAL.
Oh, the representative of People's Amendment Law. Why are you looking at me? Talk about
because I knew to pique your interest, because this is a matter that has been dragging in court for so long. I think the last time that the EC went before the courts, they told them that they should give them time to implement the law. This is actually the firmest indication since this entire impasse began.
This is a law which we passed, I think, in 2006 or 2008, thereabout. We passed it. It's been more than 10 years. We've never implemented it.
This is the closest we've
and
come
you've
to
also
it.
just justified why he was looking at you, because you're rolling.
Anymore,
roll, Malik, roll.
Say the rest. Yes, so the people had to go to court to enforce their right. You know that 5 diasporans came to Ghana, led by Samson Lada and Yenini, our colleague, who went to court saying that, look, this is a law which has been passed, giving us our rights as citizens of Ghana to vote. So you must make it possible for us to vote, because other African countries have done this. Other African countries which are not in any case better resourced or better law governed than Ghana have been able to make it possible for their citizens living abroad to vote.
You know how sometimes when you're in traffic, you're wondering what is causing the traffic, and then you get to the end of the traffic and there's nothing there. I'm wondering what the reason was for the EC's inability to implement this. Now that we're here and they're saying they're going to do it, I'm wondering what obstacle has been removed from their way. What problem has been solved?
They've always complained about logistics and resources.
Is that so?
I remember Afarijan saying clearly, if he's given sufficient logistics and resources, he will make it. He will implement.
So they had been asking Parliament for resources to implement the law, and Parliament had not been giving it to them.
Well, the resources must be made available by government.
Yes,
but Kojo is asking a very important question, because I'm yet to see a budget submitted by the EC to Parliament that Parliament says that it's too expensive. We can't allow it to implement. I'm
deliberately working my way backwards. Okay, so if Parliament has never refused them, money to implement RUPAL, then we have to now go and ask the executive, have they ever, left it out when they were approving their budgets? So I want to understand who is responsible for this big obstacle that has prevented people from being enfranchised all this time. But anyway, I think it's time for us to move on. The online review is up now, brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goyle Good Energy. Now, the Ifie promotion is still alive, and many like Ibrahim Lukman from Winchi, Benjamin Orchard from Kaswa Iron City, and Abdul Karim Abubakar from Yendi have received 1,000 Ghana cedis, 500 Ghana cedis, and 300 Ghana cedis, respectively, of free fuel fuel. Others are getting plenty instant rewards. So just drive to any Goil station, buy 100 cedis worth of fuel or more, and do this for motorbikes, 30 cedis for motorbikes or more. Get a card, scratch it, and dial *161 *4645 hash and follow the prompts, or just go to the App Store. Download the Goil promo app, sign up with your phone number, and receive a one-time activation code. More rewards are awaiting you. Get to it. Goil Ifyenifi promotion. Terms and conditions apply. Goil, your Hall of Fame petroleum company. Goil, good energy. Yenara Yedia. Now, life is always better when you have options. So, Zenith Bank's